let's talk about the PlayStation Pro. Has it been worth it? It's your boy Beaky with the Untitled Game Show, and what you're looking at right over here is Ratchet & Clank on the Pro. What I must say, one of the nicest damn looking video games I've ever seen, and I own a damn powerful PC. Sony has done an amazing job adding in the 4K capabilities to this game. Whether it's using upres, using checkerbox, upresing, it still looks damn nice. And even if you play games on the Pro at 1080p, they usually have something called super sampling, where they'll bump up the resolution to 4K or 1440p and then shrink it back down in your 1080p, giving you guys better edges. So not many jaggies. You just don't see jagged edges as well when you're playing on something like a 4K display on the Pro. But that's not to say that the Pro isn't having issues of its own. Certain things that I thought was going to be fixed with the Pro still live on, even though it should be stronger than the regular PlayStation 4. Let's talk about some of that. If I press the PlayStation button right now and start going through my stuff right here, it feels, it's lagging, it's not as quickly. Things don't load up as fast as I want while you're in the game. If I quit out of the game and start moving through those menus, the menus work fast. They respond instantly. It's very quick and fast. But when you're in the game, this little laggy feeling when you go through the menus, when you're in a chat party, when you're trying to open up the little thing on the side, is always a tad bit slower. And this is something I thought was going to be fixed on the Pro, but it still sticks around. And I think the reason for things like this is the fact that the PlayStation freaking Pro has basically a standard mode. When you're doing stuff like the menu, when you're doing other things, the freaking Pro just goes into standard PS4 mode and it doesn't use all the extra power. And this definitely does not something I want to see. I actually wish the PlayStation Pro did something like the Xbox One S, where it throws all that power it has at everything. The Xbox One S has a tiny bit more power than a regular Xbox One, and that Xbox One S just throws that power at everything. The Pro switches from the Pro mode to standard mode, and I really just don't want there to even be a standard mode on my PlayStation Pro, personally. Now, there are advantages for doing this. Because of this, the PlayStation Pro does really run really well when it comes to power, wattages, the amount of power you use to run this console. Compared to the standard PlayStation 4, it does pretty good in 1080p, even better. Of course, if you explore now to a 4K display, it's going to be using more power, but being more power efficient is important, especially with somebody like me who has to pay that damn light bill. That is a thing I have to think about. Lighting costs money, so keeping your system on and how much power it uses is a freaking thing you have to consider. With all that being said though, I am overall pretty damn happy with my purchase of the Pro. Especially because I have a 4K TV that can run at freaking 60 FPS. If you only have a 4K at 30, don't even bother. If you have an HDR TV, then buy this immediately. But that is not to say there aren't issues. Things like the PlayStation Store right here, guys. Why Sony does not have a way to rent or download or buy 4K movies from their own damn store? It makes absolutely no sense. Things like Netflix and YouTube took a while to really showcase the 4K. Well, YouTube was there from day one. But Netflix and Amazon don't really have all the 4K things that we really want to see. Of course, this is a console, not a freaking video player. So I'm just going to mention this as if something you want to think about. Don't buy the Pro if you're here to consume 4K movies. That's not the console for you. You're going to want a different way you consume your movie content. The Pro is not that way. Now, when it comes to games, things like The Last of Us Remastered looks absolutely amazing. If you see the 1080p standard mode compared to 4K freaking Last of Us Remastered Pro mode, it's nuts. It looks amazing. Freaking Uncharted. Overwatch, on the other hand, only gets a little bump up when it comes to some freaking menu UI stuff. That's garbage. I found this out because of Digital Foundry. Because I was looking at it and I was like, this doesn't look that damn different. So it all depends on what the developer uses with that extra power. That's why I kind of said I wish the Pro just let the freaking throw all that power at the game and see what happens. Now, there are some other issues that developers need to work on as well for the Pro. Because games like Uncharted, Last of Us, Infamous especially, guys, they now come with settings for resolution, settings for visuals, and you're going to have to know what those settings do. But a lot of these developers haven't put out the patch notes to actually detail exactly what these settings do. On the PC side of things, we know because PCs, there's always detailed patch note like this does this, this does that. But console gamers usually don't have to worry about that. We put a disc into the system and we play our game, and it works perfectly fine. But that's just not how it is in the Pro. In the Pro now, we get different settings that we need to know what they do. And sometimes the default setting that a game might launch with is not the setting you want to be playing with. Sometimes the game will launch with you playing in 4K at a lower frame rate at like 30 FPS or something like Infamous. And if it starts out at like freaking 30 FPS for 4K, maybe you want to play this game actually at freaking 60 FPS at a lower resolution. And that's something you're gonna have to freaking think about and what you want to do more importantly for you. So that's something you always want to think about with the PlayStation Pro. Go into the settings, see what games work best for you for which settings you want. Maybe you want more frame rate, maybe you want more visual stuff for 4K. For me, I usually go for the higher visuals. So the normal settings for games like this is going to be perfectly fine for me. But I know for a fact there are going to be some gamers who's going to go in here and want to change things from like HDR, performance. Do you want higher resolution? Do you want better frame rate? What do you want? Do you want a cap frame rate or a lock frame rate at 30 FPS, or you just smooth standard still at 30 FPS, or do you want it to have it unlimited, go all the way up to 60 if it's possible? It's all up to how you want to run the game. And PlayStation gamers are gonna have to come in here and get used to changing these settings. And that might be a little confusing to some gamers who've never played games on PC before. But just get used to it if you're going to be buying the Pro, because going forward, all PlayStation 4 games that get released on the console need to have some type of compatibility with the Pro. This is just a quick little update on my experience with the Pro for the last 2 weeks. I absolutely love the console, but there are a few things, like I said, when it comes to media, when it comes to the menus, that just aren't there yet. It's not that these things can't be patched and upgraded down the line. Definitely more 4K media could be added. Definitely stuff like the menus could be sped up when you're in a game, when chat, stuff like that. I mean, I'm glad that stuff like the Wi-Fi in the Pro is faster than the Wi-Fi in the normal PlayStation 4. I've definitely seen there is a difference. So there are their greats, there are their downfalls, but it all depends on what you want from your system. And for me, I wanted 4K. And then that's what I got. So overall, I'm very happy with the Pro. And I can't wait till I can bring you guys some 4K footage right from the Pro very soon. Alright guys, I'm trying to get a 4K capture card. I might have a little fundraising about that real soon. Till next time though guys, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think of the PlayStation Pro in the comment section below. There.